For years, advertisers have battled endless dashboards, wasted spend, unpredictable campaigns, and decisions made on incomplete data. But now, Bittensor Subnet 21, AdTAO is here with the solution: the world's best Google Ads MCP server and campaign prediction AI. Give a big round of applause for AdTAO.
Thank you. That was cool. I've never seen that video before. So that was really cool. I was excited by that. Right. Thank you, everybody. So let's continue with this marketing theme that Mark just started a moment ago. Google Ads as a platform has been around 20 plus years now. And it shocks, surprises, and continues to amaze me that the way Google Ads accounts are managed on behalf of clients or by clients and their in-house teams is still largely an unregulated, non-systematic Wild West. You would have thought by now the industry would have grown up. It hasn't. So we built AdTAO, and I'll explain what that is in a few minutes. I'll try and make this not too nerdy, but there is a little bit of that in there. But really what we're about is establishing a standard of care for a $300 billion market. And for anybody who thinks, Google Ads is going away, AI is eating it, Google has one of the biggest AIs in the world. They're not about to give up on a $300 billion advertising business when they're sat on nearly $130 billion of cash assets in their bank. They have one thing over, above, and beyond every other competitor, which is they have inbuilt distribution in dozens of tools, dozens of platforms around the world that they can leverage at a moment's notice. So with that said, let's talk about replacing folklore with forecasts. So, I said already, Google Ads is a little bit Wild West. When we launched on Bittensor a couple of months ago, we talked about most people have a guy called Keith. And Keith will be spending your money the best way he thinks is appropriate for your account. And he does that because he's already done 10 accounts before, so he knows what good looks like, but not so much. And so Keith is having a go. They're following best practice, as it's called. Now, the thing I know about best practice from a Google Ads perspective is that it's rarely best and it's rarely practiced. And that's been the case for a very, very long time. And the problem is, we have this huge information asymmetry. Google can run statistical tests in one corner of their advertising ecosystem and have a statistically valid answer by lunchtime. Keith's got 10 accounts. How do you think his data looks? How statistically useful is it? It's so fragmented that the practitioners who run on behalf of clients struggle to do their job effectively. And even if they had the data, we're in an industry where you won't find statisticians. You don't find machine modelers. You find people having a go. So the way I think of it is this. Think about a casino. Google Ads operates very much on a casino model. Take a roulette table, 8 chairs around the table. What does Google care about? It cares, number one, make sure there is a bum on every seat at that table and that they stay there as long as possible. Number two, make sure they spend as much as possible while they're sat there. That's Google's objective. If one player wins big, don't care, providing the overall take is what they want. If one player loses big, still don't care, because there's 2 people standing waiting for a chair to become free. That's the model. Keep the pool deep, keep people playing, keep them spending as much as possible. Now you can see that if you're the advertiser and all you want to do is get people to book you to come and rewire their electrics or to do their plumbing or build them a house, that's a very different objective to what you actually want from your ad campaigns. So the person who has access to all the data that could meaningfully help advertisers is the person with the biggest vested interest to not do that. Make sense so far? We're good? All right. So, prior to joining Bittensor, we'd already built an evidence layer. And what that evidence layer does is it takes over 20,000 Google Ads accounts, 3 full years worth of data across 20,000 plus accounts, and it codifies it, and it allows us to understand how you are doing versus your competitor versus somebody else. So we have that visibility that Google hasn't got, won't give. We have that already. And we can say, this is where you are, this is how you compare, and this is how we can fix and apply a fix to your account. And that's what we've been delivering for clients. We had a working business prior to coming into Bittensor, and it works. It delivers results. Typically, we can uplift account performance by about 20% just by doing this. Now, if 20% performance improvement, if you're spending 10, 20, 50,000 a month, that's worth having. That's the difference between a profitable campaign, a loss-making campaign. That's the difference between success and failure. So if we can give you on average 20% today, most people would take that. But for us, that's kind of the starting point. The next thing is, and where the thing that brought us into Bittensor, I'm often asked, why did we come into Bittensor? And the answer is really simple. Siam and I had a conversation over several glasses of wine at a Christmas lunch last year. And Siam said to me, what's the biggest thing that if you could solve this problem would give you a complete massive advantage in your marketplace and solve the problem? And the answer is this. At any given time, there's a whole number of different things I could do in a Google Ads account. There's dozens of different things. But what if I knew what each of them would do to that account performance? Would it increase the number of leads? Would it increase my spend? Would it increase my sales? Would it crash something? If I knew in advance what an action I wanted to take was going to do, then I could always make sure that the next thing I did was the best possible action for that account to help it achieve its goals of sales, leads, or whatever. So the question became, build a prediction model inside Bittensor. So for any given change, we can predict the future. We can run changes before they happen and know with a high degree of confidence how they're going to play out for that advertiser in reality. And that's what Bittensor brings to us. If we tried to do this with academia, I'd still be talking to professors about white papers and project scopes and planning for something to be delivered. Well, I can't do it now, possibly, because it's the summer holidays. We're going to take 3 months off over the summer, so we'll come back in the autumn and we'll maybe start the project. And maybe in 12, 18 months' time, I might have a white paper as to what we predicted. We're 5 weeks in and we have 5 predictions on 5 different aspects of Google Ads already. That's what Bittensor brings to us. The ability to see into the future and to adapt to that future very, very quickly. So that's what our miners are doing. They're giving us windows of 7, 14, and 28-day changes before we spend a penny, before we make a difference. And the nice thing with our business that we bring to Bittensor is we brought to it a private, non-shared data corpus of about 20,000 live Google Ads accounts and billions of data points that come with them. Now, every time we bring on a new customer, that corpus grows. Every month that passes, that corpus grows. So as we move from 20,000 Google Ads accounts to 30 to 50 to 100,000 accounts, we build a moat, we build a data pool so deep, nobody can get close to it. And that's the trajectory that we're on. Getting to initially 50,000 accounts and then pushing on to 100. So every single customer makes us better. Every single customer makes the outcomes better for every other customer already in the ecosystem. And this is possible because we've codified unique data points like DNA inside our Google Ads accounts. So if that's what we do, who do we compete with? How do we make money? Because right now, the way about 60% of Google Ads accounts are run is they hire something called a marketing agency, which usually has a cool name like Insight or, Inspire Media or whatever it might be called. And, they've got 3 Keiths in the back office and a junior who's doing the real work. And some sales guy will buy you lunch. That's generally how an agency operates. And when they do all that, here's the thing about agencies, and I know this because in my prior life, I used to train agencies, amongst other things. I ran my own large agency for 10 years. They make 10% on a good day. It's not a great business model. They sell for very little. They're high people, high effort, low repeatability, low scale businesses. We take a different approach. So the first thing we can do is people can just subscribe to our software. And in that software, the predictions the miners have made exist as just a part of the system. So they can do that. And they can run it themselves. We currently have that private, so people can't currently buy it, but we allow a small number of users in that we vet before they come in to make sure they're the right kind of people. My favorite one right now, and I love this for 2 reasons, is a done-for-you service. And a done-for-you service simply means this, that when you want to come to us, rather than saying, we will buy your box of tricks and we'll rent it off you, and we take responsibility for the outcome, it says, I will look you in the eyeball, you take responsibility for the outcome that your software delivers, and we'll pay you 5 times the price that we would have paid to do it ourselves. So, from the outside, it looks and feels like an agency. From the inside, that 10% margin the agency runs at is 80 inside our business. Because we say, there you go, Mr. Client. Yes, we'll take responsibility. Yes, we'll run your ads accounts. And we don't go to Keith in the back. I talked to a guy called James who presses the button and it presses go. And the tool takes over and does the rest. And it does it better. And the third thing that we're launching in the second half of the year is what we call our embed approach, where because our tech is so superior to what people can do, and agencies are busy people organizations, we can go into an agency with the nicest possible way to say this, take out 75% of their team, replace them with our software, and share the upside. I appreciate for the individuals affected there's not much upside, but from the agency owner's perspective it's significant because they get fewer headcount, much higher margins, and a better client performance. So, this was mentioned in the intro. As we move towards a world where we rely on Claude and ChatGPT to do tasks, not everybody wants to log into a software. Some people like their Claudes. So we have built an MCP server, and people can plug into that. And we've already measured its performance. We have a data layer nobody else has. So our MCP server is better than anything else you can buy because it has data that nobody else has got. So if you're a techie person, you can jump in and plug it into Claude and say, Claude, run AdTAO for me, run my account, and it can run your account for you. We have everybody from solo advertisers to growing businesses to agencies running on this. Now, our team is small by design. We kind of dog food our own business. We own our own agency. Our agency we run as a lab, and we run it for a lab for reasons that will become apparent as we go through. Number one, if I sell my software to a customer and they use it, if they use it wrong, my results look bad. And I don't know whether it's them or the tool or the outcome that's the problem. So I wanted an unaffected, clear path, which meant I opened an agency. But I opened a very specific type of agency. We only work with franchises. Now, why does that matter? It matters because if I want to run empirical tests and I have 50 locations of a franchise that are all identical in every respect apart from geography, I've got a perfect in-house clean test that I can test my machine against my humans. And I can't get that with any other kind of business anywhere. So that gives me the cleanest test data I could possibly get my hands on. And it also means we can win business in big chunks. So we own a very specific type of agency. I have done this before. My last agency got up to about 800 clients and 35 staff, and we were in Google HQ all the time because we made their top-tier table. We've been there, we've done that, we sold that in 2021 because we saw that the opportunity wasn't the old agency model. It was technology that enables a new model, and that's what we're building. So we have myself, we have a guy called John Davey. We partnered together on that exit. John has also had multiple exits of his own as well, very, very successful individual. And we're backed by DSV. And they helped us bring this to life. Had it not been for a Christmas lunch and some drinks with Siam, when Siam said, you need to be in Bittensor, and my immediate response was, what's a Bittensor? I had no clue, not a clue. I am complete crypto native. But I certainly see the power of technology. Getting into Bittensor, getting up and running as a subnet, is a hard hill to climb. It's hard work. Working in an environment where everybody wants to kill you is a weird place to be. It's strange. Normally when I work with people, they're on my side. I tell them what to do, they do it. Miners go, I can cheat that. Validators go, I can cheat that. But when you wrangle them all together, I've got 6 weeks of outcomes that I couldn't have got in 16 months. And miraculously, by some quirk of this amazing ecosystem, it hasn't cost me a penny to pay them because the Bittensor ecosystem remunerates them. Where else can you get that level of talent readily available to start with zero notice? They have to hand in another job anywhere else. And compete for a reward. Last week, we had over 110 miners competed in our competition. 110. All competing to improve Google Ads outcomes for clients. So where are we today? We're actually beyond $500,000 annual recurring revenue. So our business is already profitable. We already make money. We already have revenue. We already have customers. Our internal runs at 50 beta testers that are using the tool internally, and we just signed up 2 more franchise brands, so that's now 10 franchise brands in the US. So we're growing that business very, very rapidly. But having said that, okay, I would say we're in a phase where we've been, I think I used the expression yesterday, I'm driving with one foot lightly on the brake. While we acclimatise to being in Bittensor, we've kind of just taken commercial pressure off and gone a little bit slower. We're about to put our foot on the gas. And as you can see there, we do 87% margin or thereabouts. You won't find an agency on the planet doing anything remotely close to that, or getting the same level of client outcome that we can get because of our technology. So, this month, there are a few things happening. And a few things more that are not on here. So the first thing to say, if this is my announcement screen, there's a couple more not here, so I'll do them all at once. First thing, June ended yesterday. Our revenue was up approximately 20%. Our profits were up, and we'll be announcing before the end of the week a significantly increased buyback of Alpha over our previous buyback last month. We made a commitment that every month, for the first few months, we would do a manual buyback every single month based on profits. We'll keep that commitment and keep increasing that commitment as we grow. That will happen before, it's Wednesday, Friday. So May was good, June was stellar, and there's a lot more coming in July. In July, on the 21st of July, we will be publicly opening the doors properly for the first time. The foot comes off the brake. We allow real users at scale to come into the platform. When that happens, more revenue comes, and I think the technical term is a shit ton more data comes into our ecosystem that we can build and model and grow upon. With that, the MCP server will be officially announced, although it's already live. We've already mentioned we're live in Bittensor. There are a couple more things that I haven't mentioned, though, and I'm just going to check my thing to make sure I don't forget them, because they were decided after this slide was put together. Yeah, got that. Okay, so the last one, and the one I'm actually most excited about everything. When you join Bittensor, you have to create an incentive mechanism. And we created ours, which was a weekly prediction contest. And that's what we've been running. And that's worked very, very well. But predictions are great. We need the prediction to get to know what to do next. But what they don't tell us is, what is the value of the outcome to the client from using this tech? What does the client actually get? Sure, you were accurate in what you said, but what's in it for me as a client? What's my outcome? Am I 20% better off, 40%, 50%? Has it got worse? What's my outcome? I don't care whether you're right or not. I care whether I'm better off or not. Starting August 1st, we're upgrading our incentive mechanism to do something that no marketing technology firm, to my knowledge, has ever done. We will be on-chain, publishing before, after, side-by-side comparisons of every single result we get, verifiable to the individual results that we deliver. So every single thing we run, you'll be able to verify and prove the outcomes we've delivered to clients. So you won't hear me stand here and say, we made on average 20% better for clients. I'll say, look on chain, look at the results. That's what we've delivered for our clients. That's the value. We believe in the tech. We already know it works. We're prepared to publish publicly the results that we get because we know we win and we know we'll keep winning by more. So, that is AdTAO. We believe we're the standard of care, we're the standard of transparency, and the standard of performance. If I was to leave with my aspiration for where we're taking this, it's to get to a point where if you attempt to run a Google Ads account for yourself or for a client and you're spending real money that could be spent on salary or wages or anything else, and you do not run it on AdTAO data, you are being irresponsible and negligent in your job. That's my goal. That's where we're taking this platform. And thankfully, we can do it inside the Bittensor ecosystem. Thank you.